Hey guys, it's Raspberry Gem Gaming here, and today we're going to be doing the Super Genesis Wave. For those who don't understand the Super Genesis Wave, this Genesis Wave we're talking about is a local Genesis Wave, also known as zone shifting. Zone shifting is the natural life cycle of changes that a universe goes through, aka the Mobius strip. There's multiple waves out there. There's the Mega Drive wave and the Genesis wave. The main wave we're going to be talking about is the Genesis wave. Some people that haven't read the Archie comics would have no idea about this. Some people that have read Archie comics do have a simple idea of it. But today we're going to go in depth about it. And this Genesis wave comes from Mobius-2. This is a local Genesis wave. It's also called a Super Genesis wave. So without further ado guys, let's get right into it. Super Genesis Wave Mobius-2 Zone Shifting. The Genesis Wave is a man-made form of zone shifting via chaos control. It is a phenomenon created using the energies of a chaos emerald to rewrite reality to the user's benefits. The technology was developed by Dr. Eggman and has been used by him both alone and in alliance with Dr. Wily to alter Mobius-2 on 2 occasions and Mega Man's world once. A supercharged variation made possible with the power of all 7 chaos energy is called a Super Genesis Wave. Description: functions. The Genesis Wave has the ability to rearrange the space and time of a microverse dimension, allowing the user to create a new timeline, reshape the physical universe, rewrite memories, and alter the structure of a Mobius strip. Additionally, the Genesis Wave can rewrite microverses adjacent to the affected one in question, like liquids in other words. If another dimension lays close to the one being rewritten, the adjacent dimension will be rewritten as well, such as in the case of the Zone. The space-time altering effects of the Genesis Wave will linger for a short while, creating disturbances that can be detected throughout the new reality's timeline, like when Silver registered the effects in the present from the future. Limitations. The Genesis Wave's capabilities are limited by how many Chaos Emeralds are used. With just one, the Genesis Wave can only tweak the timeline and bend the occasional rules of the world. It is also incapable of outright erasing individuals from existence. With all 7 Chaos Emeralds, however, the user can release a supercharged version of the wave, known as a Super Genesis Wave. This wave has no limitations to it and can completely reshape the world however the user seems fit, including erasing others completely and turning beings into deities. Doesn't that seem OP? It's basically just the authors just saying we can just get rid of it. It's a retconning system, guys. The Genesis Wave also cannot completely erase old memories. A regular Genesis Wave, for example, often leaving the affected inhabitants with amnesia or senses of déjà vu. The memories affected by the Super Genesis Wave also still exist, but cannot be accessed at all. Space-time disruptions from chaos control can also partially restore a person's old memories. Side effects. Despite its power, usage of the Genesis Wave has its dangers. Overuse of it can greatly strain the fabric of reality, up to the point of literally breaking a universe. The Super Genesis Wave presents even a greater risk, capable of causing apocalyptic damage to the entire Mobius strip, and all of existence itself if used incorrectly, or if it's improperly reserved. In addition, unlike the effects of a normal Genesis Wave, the Super Genesis Wave's effects are irreversible. Once the affected world is changed, it presumably stays that way forever. There is at least one known object that is capable of offering a potential immunity against the Super Genesis Wave. The Jewel Scepter, a mythical artifact from the Zone, protected its native zone from being destroyed when the Mobius strip collapsed, instead of allowing it to merely be altered like Mobius-2 was, to much of a lesser degree. In fact, the Scepter's protection caused a particular anomaly to the zone. Its inhabitants, such as Blaze the Cat, retained clouded memories of what had taken place in the past, especially in relation to her prior interactions to Mobius-2. Even certain objects that could have only existed in the old version of the zone were protected from being erased. The most notable being Captain Metal, a salvaged and rebuilt version of Metal Sonic version 3.4, a version of the robot created in the old version of Mobius-2. According to Professor von Schleichmann, sorry, I'm not German, I will always mess it up. The effects of the Super Genesis Wave were created after another type of space-time anomaly known as the Genesis Portals, small rips in the fabric of space-time, created by the shards of the old Mobius strip. that allowed travel between realities. History of the Super Genesis Wave, Mobius-2, Development. The Genesis Wave was conceived by Dr. Eggman during his recovery from insanity, theorizing that Sonic was apparently the embodiment of chaos, thereby making him an unpredictable element that would spoil any of his plans. The Doctor came up with the Genesis Wave to neutralize that factor. After escaping New Metropolis prison, Eggman and Snidely began developing the Genesis Wave. First wave, Clean Sweep. After completing and launching the Death Egg Mark II with the Blue Chaos Emerald, he unleashed the wave as part of Operation Queen Sweep. The resulting reality was different in a number of ways from how it had previously been. This included a timeline where Eggman and Snidely easily took over Mobius, and where Sonic, the Nuthole Freedom Fighters minus Bunny, and Eggman had not met until the new present. However, the changes the Genesis Wave had caused threatened to destroy the entire dimension. As Eggman failed to cement his grip on the new reality with his new world roboticizer, Supersonic used Chaos Control to restore reality to its previous state. However, the effects of the Genesis Wave awoke the emerged spirits inside Aegis Nagus, left half of Mobius' population vulnerable to the roboticizer once more, and sent the Blue Chaos Emerald to another dimension. Second Wave, Worlds Collide. After Dr. Eggman's failed plot to alter Sonic's past using the Time Eater, the Blue Chaos Emerald ended up in the Lamphite Ruins on Earth in the year 20XX. Using the Emerald, Dr. Wily inadvertently came in contact with Eggman, who was still trapped in the white space after said plan failed. The two decided to team up after bonding. The Doctors constructed the Wily Egg with its own Genesis Wave machine within the zone, thereby allowing them to retain their memories of their original realities. The Doctors launched the second Genesis Wave, which affected their respective worlds in different ways. While the timeline of Mobius-2 was completely reset, the timeline of Mega Man's world flashed into the future with only slight alterations. This also established a bridge between the worlds for the Doctors to use. The third wave, the Super Genesis Wave. With the second Genesis Wave successfully launched across both realities, Dr. Eggman and Wily gathered the 7 Chaos Emeralds to supercharge the Genesis Wave for a Super Genesis Wave to alter realities further, this time to completely reshape their worlds to their exact vision with no limitations and turn themselves into deities, despite the risk of heavily damaging the fabric of space-time in the process. Sonic and Mega Man were unable to prevent the Super Genesis Wave from being unleashed and rewrite both their universes, but they were still able to infiltrate the wave while in their super forms, in which they attempted to reverse with Chaos Control. Super Armor Mega Man was able to successfully restore his world, with everybody native to his world returning to their proper place. Supersonic's attempt at restoring his world, on the other hand, was met by interference by Eggman, which resulted in their world being restored but with disastrous consequences. Sonic and the rest of the Freedom Fighters returned with conflicting memories of how their world was before, with the knowledge that their world had apparently been altered somehow. The effects of the Super Genesis Wave ultimately proved a bit too much for the Mobius strip to handle, and the stress of the wave's remaining energy broke the planet. The shattered fragments of the original Mobius strip would become Genesis portals, which would lead to other universes. This allowed Sigma, the nemesis of Mega Man's descendant, X, to start his own plans for Mobius strip domination, and led to Sonic and Mega Man's next meeting. Oh my god guys, honestly, thank you so much for watching this. If you watched this all the way through, please consider subscribing, it means the world to me. Like this video and comment what your favourite Genesis Wave is. Is it the first one, second or third? Well honestly, I just love the Archie comics. This was obviously just for David so he can actually understand what the Genesis Wave is. Either way guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time my lovely jammers. Bye bye.